Let's talk about the latest news with Lucasfilm. Yes. You guys maybe have heard, because it was the number one trending story last night after we did the show. We have this from Variety. Lucasfilm and United Talent drop Mandalorian star Gina Carano following offensive social media posts. I'm sorry, I don't think the posts... Well, look, I guess offensive is in the eye of the beholder, I suppose. But she basically made a post. It looked like she was quoting someone else who said that in World War II Germany, they pitted neighbor against neighbor, and that's what gave the political party there, I'll just say it, the Nazis, the ability to then round people up. They got the people of the country all angry. They were demagoguing. The crazy thing about what she posted is it's exactly what the left has been complaining about with Donald Trump. They said Donald Trump is a demagogue who is villainizing people and tearing us apart. So then Gina Carano is basically like, yeah, you know what? That's what they did in World War II Germany. We shouldn't do this. And they were like, oh, you bigot, ban her. Well, the big news, the big update is that, well, Disney's kind of getting slammed because Pedro Pascal did something very similar, and he's the star of the show. So he's able to post these comparisons claiming the U.S. is like Nazi Germany. Nobody cares. This should be just proof to anybody that we're dealing with hypocrites who don't actually care about what they're saying. It is absolute BS. And I canceled my Disney Plus. You guys canceled Disney Plus?
I never got it.
I don't have it.
I use my friend's login.
I don't support the chai coms.
Are you supposed to admit that?
I don't know. But I think what's interesting is that she didn't even mention leftists or Democrats or the left in her post, unless I'm mistaken.
No, there's nothing like that.
So it's kind of like if the shoe fits. Like if someone's talking about Nazis and you get mad, you might be a Nazi.
Right. It's weird.
And like you said, the entirety of the left has been making Nazi comparisons for the past 4 or 5 years over Trump and over right-wingers in general.
Why did they fire Gina Carano? Like, I've been thinking about this all day because I recorded a segment earlier in the morning. It can't be for the stated reason. Maybe they just didn't want her. Yeah. They wanted to find a reason to fire her, and they were like, "Ooh, now's our chance."
Well, she's been an undercover Hollywood conservative for a minute. I remember back in, I think it was August or September, they were trying to get her back then too.
Yeah,
because she made some kind of post about pronouns in bio. Yeah, she made a boop bop beep post, yes. And which I thought was funny.
Is that a meme or something, or is just?
She was making fun of like R2D2. And saying that was the pronoun.
Yes.
Well, it was funny.
She also posted about individuals like Epstein. And as you know, a lot of people in Hollywood and government are usually connected to individuals like that. And, it's just absolutely scary and dangerous what's happening because it's so Orwellian. It's so backwards. We have unaccountable billionaire corporate executives deciding which speech is okay and which speech they should censor because it's dangerous, when in reality, them doing that is dangerous. And it's absolutely ridiculous.
But that's why I'm saying I don't think... I feel like there's something else going on here.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Because...
What do you mean?
Well, the boop, bop, beep thing was more offensive. It was considered offensive to pronouns or whatever. Not that I think it was offensive.
I feel like none of it's offensive. Everyone is so... There must be something else to it. I don't get it. Maybe she made the wrong people mad.
Yeah.
Everyone's so jaded.
She's defiant.
That's what I'm thinking.
You can't fake offense. There's no way. I mean, we saw a little of the kind of like outrage by the blue check marks yesterday before the major decision was made, because we were talking about this story right before we went on. And
I didn't think they'd fire her.
I didn't think it would go this far. And then after the show, I'm like, holy cow, they fired her from the show. And then a lot of actors are pissed off. A lot of people on the show are pissed off, and they should be. I mean, this is leading towards this kind of situation that's going to cause brain drain in one way or another, whether it's people who want to come here who are going to be afraid because people are just getting canceled because of their opinions, that are milquetoast, that are not even that wild, that are not even that partisan. She was talking about a historical reference where people were riled up so much that they started to hate their neighbor. Something, of course, that many people prove by the actions today is a legitimate threat, and they proved it.
It's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
You know what this reminded me of? When Luke and I were in Hamburg, Germany for the G20, there was a moment where Luke was just walking down the street with just like a random local journalist, and someone pointed and yelled Nazi Schweinhund at Luke, and then random people who were just sitting nearby jumped up and random started punching him. But you could tell the story better than I can.
Well, I mean, I even have history. My family fighting the Nazis, fighting the communists as a Polish-born proud person. I'm like, why am I in Germany getting called a Nazi, getting attacked and jumped and beat up by the people? I was like, are you freaking kidding me?
Think about this.
Yeah.
What was particularly striking about what happened to you was that there were people just sitting on the ground, like on the curb. And as soon as they heard the word, they jumped up, having no idea who you are or what you were doing, and started beating you.
And
right?
it was brutal because like it wasn't just like one group of people. It was organized in a way where I was able to push away, get away, and then down the block someone would hit me, and then down the block someone else would hit me, and I'm like, what? I can't get. I had to keep running because they were everywhere, and there was literal squads of individuals with my photos, and a whole team of them running around. Not just my photos. There was other journalists, independent journalists, mainstream media journalists that weren't even connected to us. They just had photos taken next to us. They were just our friends that were just there that had nothing to do with anything political. They got the crap beat out of them because they had Antifa hit squads literally looking at photos, running through all the crowds.
That's not the issue, right? The issue is that there were people who didn't have those photos who were just like, there was like a guy and he's like sitting on the ground eating chips. And then as soon as he hears someone yell Nazi, he runs up and starts hitting Luke, having no idea why he's doing it. What I see with what Gina Carano posted and then what happens now still with the same, it's the same thing. I don't care if they're fascists or anti-fascists. They seem to love to just randomly beat people they don't know.
Yeah.
Granted, one was substantially worse. We're trying to stop the authoritarians from moving in this direction. Why? Because Disney fires Gina Carano while thanking the paramilitary group in Xinjiang that is running Uyghur concentration camps.
Right.
So forgive me if you're like, how dare you compare Antifa to the fascists? Well, the Antifa people apparently are cheering on Disney, who is thanking the paramilitary group running a concentration camp of a religious minority. So it kind of feels like we're getting dangerously close to some real world parallels.
And she proved it today with her post. And Lucasfilm released a statement, and they said her Twitter posts were, quote, abhorrent and unacceptable. I mean, are you kidding me? And those are the statements that, of course, Twitter, ran with. So whenever you clicked on the story, it said Gina was fired for abhorrent social media posts. And of course, they don't list what the post was. And when you really look at it, Jeffrey Epstein, this beep bop thing, this Nazi comparison, not even comparison, but just saying, hey, this happened during history. We shouldn't let it happen now.
Well, hold on. Wasn't Walt Disney like a raging anti-Semite?
He was, yes.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And
Well, there you go. He's offended that Disney's offended because she's calling them out.
Yeah, if anyone
Right.
should be canceled, it's Disney for their
Seriously.
participation with the Uyghur Muslim police force. Their ties with Walt Disney of all people, and their cartoons also have a long history that's very controversial. There's a lot of things we could bring up. I mean, if we're going to do anything, not just cancel your membership, cancel Disney all in general. If you want to play by these rules, cancel all of these people.
Yeah,
I was to tell my friend to cancel his account that I'm using.
Oh, boo.
But you know what? I wish that there were more. I wish people weren't such cowards, because half of Hollywood is conservative. Okay, I would say half, generous. Okay, and no one is speaking up on her behalf that is a conservative in Hollywood. No one. And it's like they're just sitting there hoping that it doesn't eventually hit them, and it's going to.
Yep.
Whether it's in February, the summer, fall. So at some point, they're going to get you too. Because in my opinion, celebrities who don't speak about politics are always conservatives. And we talked about that earlier. It's like, if you're not talking about it, you're probably at least right-leaning. And that's all it takes. Because like we said, she wasn't even saying anything super partisan.
I was in LA a couple years ago, and there was some like B-list celebrity guy, and he was talking to people, and someone who was, we were out in the street. One of the guys who was there was a Trump supporter, and so he was talking to the celebrity, and then when everyone started leaving, he's like, "This dude voted for Trump," and he goes, "Shh, come on, man, don't tell anybody." And then he looked at me and he's like, "Dude, for sure, yeah, but no one can know." And I'm
it's like I get it, but like I also hate it.
Yes.
That everyone is so cowardly, because at the end of the day, because no one's speaking up, it does make the few people who speak up, they take all of the heat. And I've always talked about that. So it's very frustrating.
I've always hung out with some like celebrities whenever I go to LA, and all of them treat me like their secret girlfriend. They're like, just don't tell anyone we're I'm like, dude, you don't even got to tell me that. I'm not fanboying or gonna take a picture with you. Just relax and calm down. They're like, I love your stuff. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. I want to know about this.
And they're dying to talk about it.
They're dying to talk about it. They love that. They have a lot of passion, and I'm not gonna tell you exactly who it is, but there's a bunch of them, and there's a big community of people that have to literally be quiet about their own personal beliefs, about something that they truly deep down believe is true, that they can't even openly talk about because they're scared of getting the hammer across their head.
Those ideas will die with them. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the point. If you don't say them, they go away. It's like
Great point.
it's like the mask, right? You wear the mask so you can't spit the coronavirus at people.
Yeah.
So they're putting a mask over your ears so that you can't. Well, actually, no, it's literally a digital mask and a physical mask. This is what's really crazy about what's going on.
Right.
I think the reason they got rid of Gina is not because of this one post. It's because she's a rebel, because she defies the orthodoxy. It's a series of posts, and they're like, we cannot have someone going against us because they don't want this individual gaining power. They don't want celebrities to go up and foment some kind of revolt against the establishment. But I tell you what's worrying, I mentioned this before, you can't go to a bar. The bars are all under restrictions. So people aren't meeting each other, they're not sharing ideas, they're not talking. So they go online. But those ideas online that are bad are filtered out because it's hate speech or wrong think or whatever. So what they're doing is the longer they stay locked down, the more they are controlling exactly what people think and hear and say.
That is so true. And, so I live in LA. Pray for me. And they just started reopening outdoor dining. Of course, it's freezing. No one's eating outdoors. But along with it was a stipulation that you couldn't turn the TV on in restaurants. Restaurant owners could not have their TVs on. And it's like, it really is about a control of information, a control of conversation. And like you said, of meeting people, exchanging ideas, starting to question, why have I been on my knees begging for money for the past year from the government? Why, like, maybe the mask thing doesn't make as much sense as people think. Maybe this doesn't make as much sense. It's about control of the conversation. And it's so disturbing.
We're going to get banned.
Instagram just said they're going to start banning people for hate speech and direct messages.
Right?
Yep.
Well, it's not just them. I mean, we could list a whole number of individuals that were banned, that were hit today. But I think the larger context of why this is happening is this larger insecurity police state that we've seen be the epitome of the Biden administration. We've seen them representatively be surrounded by police officers trying to look tough. And I think this is another example of this exemplified with just striking someone down who wasn't really saying anything controversial, wasn't saying anything crazy. But this is going to have a chilling effect, not just in Hollywood, but in the larger social media political spectrum where people are like, well, I don't want my Twitter account taken down. I better not even dare to talk about history because if I do, they're going to destroy me and I'm going to lose my job. My agency is going to take me down. And then this is going to reverberate amongst people. And we have to understand it only works because we let it work. This chilling effect, this fear, this silencing efforts have been done in many coordinated ways. And this is why, for so many reasons, big tech oligarchs, social media companies like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, they never tell you exactly why they ban you. They never give you a reason. They never give you a way to even answer yourself or even have a fair hearing or even have a decision that you could be held accountable for. No. Blanket cut. No accountability, no transparency. Life sentence, forever deleted from the discourse, not being able to talk ever. Because why? We don't even know.
So what
and
happens?
That's the reason.
People don't want to experience that. And the way I know it's real, what people are feeling, that fear that you talked about, is that even I sometimes catch myself feeling it. And I have made a living off being outspoken on the internet for years. And even I sometimes, before I say something, I'm like, should I say that? Which always makes me want to say it more. But still, it's like, imagine the person who is working a 9 to 5, who is working in a corporate environment where they can't say anything. You know, my fiance was working at a job where over the summer, he's not working there anymore, so I can say this now, but his job was donating like a ton of proceeds from the shoots he was doing. He works in production in Hollywood, from money they made to bailing out rioters. And he couldn't say anything about it. He's like, so I'm working with this company generating revenue, and they're sending that to bail out rioters who are destroying the city I'm living in, where I'm now unsafe because they're destroying the city I'm living in. So that's what it is. People can't say anything.
Hollywood is funding terrorists?
Basically.
Yeah. You have people who go around threatening you. They threaten your business, they threaten your life, they destroy it. And then you have these, these personalities, these faux progressives who cheer that on.
Right.
Then when they deploy the National Guard en masse to D.C. to lock the place down, these supposed anti-fascists who think the U.S. government is this evil empire cheer that on.
Right.
No, these are people who are just, they're bootlickers, but that's probably being generous. They're literally the boot. They're a tool of the state to suppress.
What happened to the ACAB? All cops are bad. What happened to that?
Seriously?
That went out the window so quick once they were back in
the
power.
National Guard aren't cops, so they get
True.
a free pass.
Yeah, but an unarmed woman was shot and killed.
Right.
And the story now, apparently, this officer from the Capitol wasn't actually hit in the head.
Yeah.
They don't know what happened. They think some reports I saw said they think it may have been pepper spray.
Well, there's reports of him answering back and talking to family saying he was okay, and then the next day passing away. And then it's still a mystery because we don't know what happened. And if you look at the casualty rates, I mean, there's a heart attack, there's someone being trampled. It's all Trump supporters. Even there's reports of the officer being a Trump supporter. And still a lot of mystery. Why can't we find out what's going on, especially if we're going to be using this event for such an example to lead us into this new political sphere? We should understand what happened here if we're going to use this as an example and keep talking about it, right?
You know what I love? I love all of a sudden the Democrats like falling over themselves to defend Mitt Romney. There's like a video of Mitt Romney being ushered to safety, and they're like, Mitt Romney was almost hurt. And I'm like, is that the first time you cared about a Republican?
Right.
I think so.
I'm old enough to remember the things that were said about Bush, McCain, Romney. It's like they treated him, and maybe people that are a little younger than me, I guess I'm not that old, don't remember, but they treated them just like Trump. Like Romney was racist and sexist, and McCain was racist and sexist, and so was Bush.
I don't know.
Huh?
Yeah.
Dog on the car.
The car.
Oh, I remember that.
I don't remember that.
He
But-
put like a dog carrier on his roof or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Mitt Romney is awful.
He
mind
is
you.
awful, but it's
But
like
he
the
doesn't
rewriting,
deserve-
and suddenly everyone loves him. It's like, ugh.
I can respect that they don't want the man to get hurt. I don't want to get hurt either. I might not like the guy, but I wish him nothing but safety and a long life and happiness with his family. So I get it, but I just love this idea that people screaming he was a fascist trying to take over the country in 2012, all of a sudden they're like, this poor man. Like, oh, okay.
We have to understand these are limited people and their reactions that benefit the establishment.
people?
These are a few people. These are not the
right,
majority
right,
of
right.
people.
Okay.
These are not a big
I thought you were-
representation of everyone. There's not that many of them, but when they do speak, their voices are elevated through the algorithms, through, of course, the news feeds that curate and make you see this to spin this larger divide and conquer cycle. And I think by and large, people don't like this because when you look at the number one downloaded app in the world right now, can you guys guess what it is?
TikTok.
Nope, Telegram.
Oh.
Telegram.
The
Really?
third
Whoa.
one is Signal. All communication efforts. I heard negative things about Telegram. I still have to do more research
I
about
love
this. They've
Signal.
been accused of censoring posts as well and working with governments. I still haven't been able to verify that. I need to do my own research on that. But when you look at Telegram, when you look at Signal, they represent communications that are away from the control of the state, away from the moderators, away from the mainstream media that will censor you and try to ruin you and take away your job and take away your existence as a human being in our society for having the wrong political opinion. And essentially, I mean, what we're seeing here is journalists, some blue checkmark individuals being highlighted, promoted by these big tech oligarchs that are celebrating the destruction of someone's career. And that's sick in its own twisted own way. And then the analogy I had here, it's like they're smelling blood in the water, but the sharks aren't the journalists. The big tech billionaires are the sharks, and the journalists are the bottom feeders that are eating off the sharks' poop. Family-friendly show. I was going to
like
say
that.
something else.
Yeah, I like
That's
that.
the analogy of what's happening
Refuse.
right now.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.